There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive.
Oh, when it all falls down.
This the real one, baby.
I'm telling you,
Chi-Town stand up. South side, we gon' set this party off right. West side, we gon' set this party off right. Man, I promise. She's so self-conscious. She has no idea what she's doing in college. That major that she majored in don't make no money, but she won't drop out. Her parents will look at her funny. Now, tell me that ain't insecure. The concept of school seems so secure. Sophomore 3 years, ain't picked a career. She like, it, I'll just stay down her and do it. Cause that's enough money to buy her a few pairs of new ears. Cause her baby daddy don't really care. She's so precious with the peer pressure. Couldn't afford a car, so she named her daughter Alexis. Yeah, hair so long that it looked like weave. Then she cut it all off, now she look like Eve. And she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female addicted to retail and well. And when it falls down, who you gonna call now? Come on. And when it all falls down, man,
welcome in. Happy Monday. Gemini season is in full swing. Yesterday was Prince's birthday. Today, happy birthday, Kanye West. The 49th birthday for Kanye. And listen, he is in the Netherlands getting ready to perform a birthday concert, a tribute of some sort. And he also dropped a short movie called Gemini Season that was directed by his wife, Bianca Censori. It's on his Instagram page. If you're interested, go check into it. But this right here, this is Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Of course, this is the show where we hit all the trending topics and headlines. And today is no different. We are getting into a show where the timeline is doing a little too much. It might really be a Law and Order beat episode if you think about it. A little bit politics, celebrity allegations, there we go. Legacy Hollywood, James Bond discourse, all at the same dinner table, and we're going to get into it, right? And of course, right, before I get into the stories, you know, I like a few conversation starters to kick off the night, and being that it's LA, how can I not start the story with a reality TV personality that was running for mayor, and now he's upset because the mail-in ballots are telling a different tale from what he put together in his mind.
The entitlement.
The entitlement indeed, right? And then wait, I didn't tell you what we're talking about tonight. Let me slow down. We're talking some serious allegations that popped up online over the weekend involving former Rap City host and radio personality Big Tigger. We're going to get into those details. Idris Elba is saying that the world isn't ready for a black James Bond. And, you know, people have been trying to get Idris into the Bond role for years, maybe if not decades, right? And then there's some claims involving actress Theresa Randle. You know her from Sugar Hill and others. They're kind of troubling. We'll get into that. And we'll close with the latest legal drama surrounding Clayton Howard. That is the escort that is featured in the video of Cassie and Jane Doe, but he is currently suing Cassie and Diddy. So we're going to get into those details. But yeah, Spencer Pratt, he got a wake-up call, the almost mayoral candidate. Los Angeles reminded him that not everybody believes in reality TV we trust, right? His campaign became somewhat of a spectacle. It's an understatement. But the shifting voter count shows that the difference between internet energy, bro energy, I guess, and actual political infrastructure is a bit different. And so Spencer is not happy right now. There will be a runoff in November between Mayor Karen Bass and Raman. So, I'm glad LA stood up. A lot of people, though, discovered the difference between living in the city of LA and the county of LA.
I mean, he did try to come to the city.
He did.
Try to, give us food and everything like that. Trust me, they wasn't going to vote for you, homie. They saw some free food, and that's all that mattered.
It's such an LA story because, celebrity access, civic frustrations. We're in the we're exiting, I guess, the influencer era and whom we have as president, but I'm glad we stood our ground.
Absolutely.
Also, legend Nichelle Nichols, she passed away. She broke barriers as Lieutenant Uhura. It was in 2022 that she passed away. I'm not breaking news here. On Star Trek. And her family, her estate, has now won a major wrongful death verdict tied to the care that she received before her passing. The $13 million verdict is not just about a Hollywood icon's death. It's about accountability, medical care, and even our beloved public figures can be failed in private when it comes to the care in their latter years. She died July 30th, 2022 at the age of 89, best known for playing Lieutenant Uhura on the original Star Trek, and that was a groundbreaking role for representation on television. And her estate sued Gila Regional Medical Center in Silver City, New Mexico. The lawsuit alleged that medical providers failed to properly diagnose and treat symptoms tied to heart failure. And the jury awarded the estate approximately $13 million. And there is a local report that indicated that the jury appointed negligence between the doctor and the hospital. She is one of the reasons generations of black women saw themselves in science, space, and command positions. Dr. Martin Luther King famously encouraged her to stay on Star Trek because her presence mattered. That's the cultural history. That's where we came from. That is why, people from that generation would be so insistent on appearance and image and what it means to be a representation of the community at that time. So with all of that legacy, she still was not protected in her latter years. So we are, thankful that her family has some closure now, and hopefully no one else will endure those type of conditions. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Are you ready for the hottest entertainment scoop in Los Angeles? She's bringing you exclusive interviews with today's biggest stars, behind-the-scenes Hollywood insights, and all the entertainment news you need to know. She's breaking down what's trending, what's ending, and what's just beginning in the world of entertainment. You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. M-Thurs, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, M-Thurs was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. M-Thurs lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of M-Thurs. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at mvutra.com. Ask your doctor about M-Vutra for ATTRCM.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles, KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man.
Now back to more entertainment news with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Like that. Bring it up and let it roll now. Like that. And love the way you work at your job. Like that. Make me wanna get to know you. Like that.
I bees with ball players of all sports, ballers and players of all sorts. Some of y'all wanna be players and ballers at all costs. Okay, let's play. Rob scooped me up from Midway in the Bentley. Now, bubble in the club with wild women. Next order of beers is the hot tub for mild swimming. You're 1 in a billion. Body mean like Serena Williams. French pedicure, wax Brazilian. I'm loving the way you're moving, erotic, exotic, sexy kittens, sipping hypnotic. Spotted you shaking it fast, earthquaking that ass and denim. And from the beginning, wanted to taste your venom.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. Listen, Andy's always on theme. That's Big Tigger right there on that track. We'll get into him in just a moment, but you're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And if at any point you want to get in on the conversation, 800-920-1580. That's the number that you can dial. You can get at us on social media, KBLA 1580. I'm at Stiletto Jill. You can also join the YouTube chat with the VIPs. Shout out to them and get the visual to go along with the audio experience. Now, first topic up for the night. So Big Tigger, you know Big Tigger. Is it Big Tigger? I should be saying Big Tigger, huh?
It's both, but I feel you.
Yeah.
With the hard A, yeah.
You know hard A, I don't know. Listen, you know him from Rap City back in the day, down in the basement. You just heard him. He dropped the bars maybe once, twice. Didn't go full out with it. His name was dropped in Corinne Steffens' novel, Diaries of a Video Vixen. Diary, excuse me. And listen, now he is currently on air on V103 in Atlanta. But over the weekend, a woman named Alicia Brown took to social media and is making some serious accusations against the radio and host personality, right? It's going from what she is alleging a private marriage issue to public screenshots. Now deleted screenshots, but you know that goes down. The internet never forgets. There were visible injuries and accusations that he had a relationship with his new co-host, right? Listen, This is all alleged. This is what she posted on social media. So we know Big Tigger, his real name, Darian Morgan, as I mentioned, is a long time TV and radio personality. His wife, Alicia Brown, is a cybersecurity expert. She posted images and a video showing visible facial injuries, including bruising and stitches near her eye. In the now deleted post, she wrote, "Someone asked my husband why my face happened." She tagged Big Tigger and his V103 co-host, Francesca Amiker. So the screenshot and recordings of the post circulated online after it was deleted, obviously. And she also claimed in the comments circulating that she and Tigger are divorcing. They have, I believe, a 3 or 4 year old daughter together, right? And she alleged that the split was connected to an alleged relationship between Tigger and Francesca, right? Listen, Francesca posted, absolutely not. She has been in this industry a long time. She said that she does not appreciate her journalistic integrity being questioned, and I'm paraphrasing all of this, but she said there is no relationship of any sort, and that is not anything that has ever been associated with her name. And, you know, leave me out of the group chat, basically, right? And so Amika also mentioned that, you know, she made a post, basically, one of the memes, about hearing untrue rumors about yourself and not knowing exactly how to defend yourself. So Tigger hasn't publicly commented at this moment, and there's no publicly identifiable police reports, arrests, criminal charges, restraining orders, or any of that connected to Brown's claims, right? But something is interesting that is coming up regarding her, because the internet is doing what the internet does. Now, allegedly, in around 2019, Alicia had a young child, about 4 years old of age, and she was in the Baltimore, Maryland area, and went to a casino and left the child in the car for 8 hours. Someone called and reported that the child was in the car, and they were going to remove the child, you know, break the glass and take the child out and take her in for a welfare check. When Alicia showed up, she was arrested for child endangerment. And the child reported that she was left in the car with no sweater, no food, nothing to drink. She had relieved herself, and she was in there for 8 hours. So that is part one. The next thing that was discovered were some posts on X, allegedly from the family of Alicia Brown, and they also have left comments on some of the blogs reporting this story, that said child later disappeared, and that child is missing, and her whereabouts are unknown. So there are a lot of questions surrounding Alicia from the internet and these past activities. So we'll have to see what develops here. Again, no police reports, no corroborating facts with this, just Alicia's word on social media, right? So the timeline is not court, but it is a pressure cooker. And reportedly, Tigger wasn't on his show today on the radio in Atlanta. So we'll have to see what develops with this. It's obviously very concerning, but so are the extended details that the internet detectives have provided that are alleged at this moment. So want to keep that in mind, because there's a lot to that. There's a lot happening. You know, it's very easy to, and I'm not saying that this that is what is happening with this woman. But I would implore women, if they are in a situation like this, even if you cannot resist going to social media, the first thing you should do is go to the authorities. Because at times, these social media posts feel like a cry for attention. And if you haven't taken care of the other side of it, people may not take you and your disclosures as seriously as maybe you need them to be, if proven to be true. And a long way to quench that doubt is to have some sort of evidence and to be placing the situation with the proper authority so that it could be vetted. So that's that. We'll keep you updated on those details. So next up, we know that Idris Elba once named People magazine's one of the sexiest men in the world, right? And people for years and years and years, because he's a dashing Brit, obviously with Nigerian roots, they want him to be James Bond. They think he's suave enough and has enough action hero isms that he can carry it off, right? And it's been discussed for years, ballied back and forth. The franchise is rebooting, so that is happening. But Idris says, you know, what a lot of people suspected, that the conversation, though flattering, he never believed the franchise was truly ready to hand over the hands of 007 to a black man, right? So, I mean, we can have as much Hollywood speculation as we like, but the buzz does not always mean that there will be an actual commitment in Hollywood. Though we have seen some things come to fruition from social media pressure. For example, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air reboot. And there's been a couple of other things that have come for that pressure. But this one didn't seem to happen, right? Daniel Craig retired his run as Bond. He did several years, and once that happened, the fan campaign started swelling. Idris is now 53. I think Bond can be an elder statesman. I don't mind that. But I also feel like, can't we create a dashing spy original franchise and put Idris as the star? Why do we have to keep reusing and recycling old Hollywood IP? There are tons of people with fresh ideas out there. I mean, the James Bond franchise has had its audience for almost 60 years, right? And there's a different mindset. There's a different vision. And I'm not saying that couldn't be changed up, but why not do something new where we don't have to deal with any of that and we can create it just the way that we would like it to be, right? He also warned, though, against making Bond woke, arguing that the franchise should remain escapist rather than turn into a social political symbol. You know, he said that the conversation surrounding him potentially in the role and a lot of the backlash made the conversation for him a little disappointing to have and to really think about. As I mentioned, it is Amazon MGM that is rebooting it now, and it's in development, and the new cast speculations will continue to swirl until it's announced, right? Daniel Craig's final Bond film was in 2021, and it was No Time to Die. So, there's certainly a lot to consider there, but I am on the side of news stories. There are plenty of black creators, if you want it to be from that perspective, that can give you something original and new and, you know, still be a spy themed thing, you know? I mean, for example, look at Mr. and Mrs. Smith that was on Prime. It had Donald,
Faison?
No. Donald Faison. No.
I never watched this.
Gosh, Atlanta Donald Glover.
Oh.
Donald Glover, and you know his Mrs. Smith in it, because if if you don't know the plot of the film, they're technically not a real couple. They've been placed together. But at any rate, it turned into a series on Prime, and they took a different approach with it. But at the same time, well, not with that, but there's so many series that could be completely their own and original. And I think sometimes we lean into what feels like a security blanket with established IP, but people are bored with that, right? And the bottom line is the industry story basically is, would the franchise risk global backlash and international market discomfort and fanboy panic to make it happen? We saw some of the things that Halle Bailey had to endure when she was the Little Mermaid. And people were like, mermaids can't be black. Mermaids aren't real. They can literally be anything. So, I just think that I understand the desire, and you want to see an actor like Idris who you have an affinity for, and he's suave and handsome and all of the things that you associate with James Bond, but in a story that probably resonates maybe a little closer to home. But I really think that could be written by somebody. It's a story out there.
Hey, Jill, you preaching to the choir. I love what you just said. I just feel like, we just got to focus on creating our own characters. Whatever happened to Luke Cage?
Right. Well, that wasn't our own character.
That wasn't?
No, that's a Marvel character.
Oh, wow.
That's Marvel.
Okay, never mind that. But
even if you think about Cross, which is on Prime, that is, why am I blanking? Is it Gresham, the famous novelist of the, Alex Cross novels. Alex Cross has always been black, but he was written by a white man based off of a relationship he personally had. So DJ Black 909 says, instead of black facing white creations, Hollywood should greenlight original black creations. Well, I think that is why, we're seeing a big surge in the independent game. So if there are independent filmmakers that you enjoy, support their work. When we come forward, we're going to get into more trending topics and headlines. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
In the real deal, food spots on the constant. Pick the right wine, a Chianti to wash it. Lifestyle and conferences, top-notch watches. Rolexes, synonymous, I'm copping. Ask her, has she been around duffel bags? Full of that cash, get off the jet with me in heels. I cup your ass, looking in my eyes, saying, nah, you unlucky bastard. Grip your clutch, you get finger in the passenger. I hit the Dutch, blow smoke out, music and laughter. See us in the coupe flying past you.
You're in the know with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump abruptly ended a taped Meet the Press interview on NBC after being challenged on election fraud claims and his DOJ weaponization fund.
The one-sided crooked network. So let's call it quits because I've had enough.
Moderator Kristen Welker pressed him for evidence after Trump claimed California officials were cheating in the primary. President Trump is weighing in on the Los Angeles mayor's race after Republican reality TV star Spencer Pratt appears to have fallen short. With votes still being counted, Democrat Nithya Raman is expected to face black incumbent Mayor Karen Bass in November. And rapper Snoop Dogg helped open the new Long Beach Amphitheater in California over the weekend, headlining the first show at the 11,000-seat waterfront venue near the Queen Mary cruise ship. The temporary theater could lead to a permanent venue with rappers like Lil Wayne and Nas and The Roots also set to perform this summer. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Wild Rivers is now open daily with over 25 slides and attractions for thrill seekers and lazy river chillers. Visit wildrivers.com for great values on season passes and daily tickets. That's wildrivers.com. Wild Rivers, where there's sun and fun for everyone.
Is this the Tigger? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The first NBA Finals game in New York City since 1999 helped raise $1 million in a charity auction for 2 seats in the VIP celebrity section. 2 executives at a New York law firm combined to donate the $1 million for seats at tonight's Game 3 between the Knicks and San Antonio Spurs at Madison Square Garden. The money went for a good cause to the Garden of Dreams Foundation, a charity that helps underprivileged children in New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. 6 new members of the Black College Football Hall of Fame were inducted Sunday in Atlanta. Alabama State head coach Eddie Robinson Jr., former Fort Valley State cornerback Tyrone Poole, former Bethune-Cookman free safety Nick Collins, former Jackson State wide receiver Jimmy Smith, former Florida A&M coach Rudy Hubbard, and NFL Network reporter Steve Weiss, an alumnus of Howard University. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
There is no denying that we've always been the conscience of this country. KBLA Talk 1580 is progressive talk radio built for our community, by our community, and with hosts who look like you, live near you, and care about what you care about. 50,000 watts of truth right here in Southern California. KBLA Talk 1580. Listen live on your AM radio dial at 1580 or stream us live on our KBLA1580.com website or on our free KBLA 1580 app.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
All I need is one mic.
With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr. $2.5 billion. Governor Gavin Newsom said it was there for fire survivors in Altadena and the Palisades. No strings attached. That was the promise. But the burning question is, where's it at? 18 months later, an NBC4 investigation came back with the numbers. The numbers don't answer the question, they deepen it. Where's it at? About $605 million has been spent, roughly 75% still not released. Where's it at? Roughly $14 million went to CHP overtime and ICE immigration protest response for crowd control. Not rebuilding homes, not rebuilding lives, but crowd control. Where's it at? Another $13 million went to the state health department for video campaigns, while fire survivors waited. While families in Altadena are still trying to put their lives back together, still trying to get housed, this is the hope gap, and it's real. Where's it at? Southern California Edison is still in court, still fighting liability tied to the Eaton fire, still not accountable. Where's it at? 18 months later, Governor Newsom, where's it at? Because the truth is free, but the lie can be very expensive. And right now, fire survivors want to know what happened to no strings attached. And I've been saying on this mic for the past 18 months, somebody or somebodies didn't do their job. Now it's documented. Governor Newsom, listen closely. You didn't do your job. You didn't keep your promise. You held up the bill, now stop holding up the money. You said no strings attached. Instead, you played on the people's heartstrings. Where's it at? See, Governor Newsom, even at the French Laundry, if it don't come out in the wash, it's sure enough gonna come out in the rinse, and the rinse cycle is here. With the KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm James Farr, and as always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
DJ Bombo Clap, man.
Yeah, Brooklyn badness.
Got me on the beat, so it's a banger.
Look, just touchdown in the yard. Celebration dance, touchdown with the squad. This is not a local touchdown, we abroad. Let's rap about it though, touchdown like the pod. Bank like TD, touchdown with the card. Pick six to kick it, touchdown with the broads. She on all fours, touchdown like a quad. So I had to run it back, touchdown 100 yards. Keep me in the end zone, not the friend zone. That'll get you gemstones on your skin tone. Fruity pebbles for the 10, not a 10 dome. Make the bed rock like the Flintstones. Tricks of a kids and this money been grown. And I get under skin like an ingrown. Up on these, you would think I sent drones. Where they try to cross, you would think I went chrome. Tryna get me on cam, pink fur, pink phone. Tryna dip with my jewels like I'm Jim Jones.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. And if it wasn't obvious,
doing it to the max is us.
Go New York, go New York, go! Shout out to the Knicks, man. I mean, right now we're almost at halftime and the Spurs are leading. But I am entertained thus far by this series.
I am too. I'm entertained by New York, period. I swear, every rapper, every entertainer, every actor, anybody that's from New York is just going crazy. I just saw a freestyle with Remy Ma spitting over the French Montana beat. Just the spirit. Hey,
listen, and Remy killed that.
She killed. I'm from LA, but you know my spirit is out there in New York.
Listen, we out of it, and I'm not going for the Spurs on the West Coast. No disrespect, no shade.
May the best team win.
You know, may the best team win. But I think that the Knicks winning would be good for the NBA.
Absolutely.
Now, will we ever hear the end of it from Knicks fans? Probably not.
People are already saying if they win, Jalen Brunson is about to be the best Knick of all time.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah?
I mean, not the best Knick, but the most valuable Knick, because as I mentioned last week, he gave up that money for them to be able to, you know, go out there and make those moves.
Yeah.
Now, there's two sides that you can look at. Why give the owners a break? Do you know? But the other side of it is, in this instance, him giving them a break is potentially bringing New York a championship.
100%. Plus, you know, his pops works for the organization, so he low-key probably didn't
shout out. And Rick Brunson used to play for the Clippers back in his playing days, so shout out to him.
Hey, all I'm going to say is, LeBron, take note.
Oh, all right. And then, switching up really quick, I wanted to drop this in there. Snoop Dogg, you know, he gave a concert over the weekend in Long Beach at the Temporary. I thought it was permanent, but there's a new amphitheater in Long Beach near the Queen Mary. And he gave a concert. And the interesting thing is an AI-generated Tupac made an appearance. And the digital version of the late rap icon appeared on screen. He congratulated Snoop on his accomplishments, reflected on the conversations they shared decades ago, and helped introduce a performance of their classic Two of America's Most Wanted. Your thoughts, Andy?
Didn't Kendrick get on Drake about using
Yes, he did.
AI?
He did.
I wonder what Kendrick has to say regarding this.
Well, remember, Snoop said he thought it was creative, and you know, I assume that the estate had to give him permission to do that. So the conversation feels interesting.
Well, let's not forget about his hologram too, right? That was some years ago.
Yeah, at Coachella.
Performing with Snoop, right?
No. Was it with Snoop? I thought it was just a Tupac's hologram performance.
I haven't seen the video in a while, but I felt like I remember Snoop Dogg performing, and then the hologram popped up, and then it was all Tupac from there. But still, I just wonder what Kendrick has to say regarding this, because it's quite interesting.
Well, listen. So before we get back on track, I just, want to take a little side dive into the comments, and I have a response to them. Fahima says, it's easier to introduce a franchise to a new generation with a new spin than to shop a new idea and character at a studio.
That's horrible.
I mean, yes, but, there are some instances of it, and the independent route. DJ Black 909 says, way to preach. That's the issue with Hollywood today. No originality, too many reboots and remakes. As a millennial, I'm tired of my youth being prostituted for profit.
Facts.
Be original.
But you know what it is, though? I personally think, what is it, Gen Z, Gen Alpha now?
Mm-hmm.
Low key, I feel like they really don't have much of an identity, and that's why nostalgia is so big right now. And I mean, if you're talking about, like, let's just say fashion, for example, I just feel like fashion is all over the place. What is the swag now? Everybody is going back to the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, you know, dressing up however which way. I feel like today is just a mixed match society, and they really don't have an identity for today. That's why they're kind of going back to what was beforehand, because there's no originality.
I agree 100%. And to add to that, because a lot of them don't really know what was really happening back there, because this generation, when I see the videos on TikTok and online of the kids and they showed them Whitney Houston's picture and they had no idea who she was, none, zero. And there were some other ones, like, that's preposterous. Our generation knew who our parents were into. You know, that shared generational space in that regard. Even if we weren't necessarily diehard fans, we knew. So that's the difference. But on the originality front, I wanted to point out something that happened a couple of weeks ago. So there are two films, Backrooms and Obsession. They were made by two directors who got their start on YouTube, and they have become two of the youngest filmmakers to have movies top the box office, right? Backrooms opened at #1 in theaters, grossing over $5 million at the box office in Canada and $118 million in the U.S. globally. And A24 is the studio that is putting them out. A24 often puts out a lot of new and different type of content. I shouldn't just say content, films. And in second place was the psychological horror film Obsession, and it was by Curry Barker, who's 26. And again, both of these guys got their start on YouTube. It didn't contain any major stars, but they did box office numbers. So if you have the community and you put it out there, the audience will obviously respond. I think that is what that says. So watch for that, because Hollywood certainly is. And, you know, it's a big thing. They built their audience and their film style on YouTube. They would put these type of films and content out into the world, and it led to this. So we'll see. You know, there's always hope for new content. There's always hope for original content. So shout out to that. Urban Spinster says, Obsession was not on my bingo card, but it was a good film. Great acting. See, look at that. You never know. Back in the day, there was a middle class of films that didn't exactly necessarily have the big star, and we still went to them and enjoyed it. Why? Because it was a good story. Listen, when we come forward, we're going to get into the details of actress Theresa Randle and some accusations her way, as well as Clayton Howard as he breaks down his lawsuit against Diddy and Cassie. I was going to say Giddy. All that and more when we come forward.
Just to flip it, pop some tags. Girl, go on that go, y'all bad. Spinach, 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 spinach. I like the gangsta, making more than 10 figures. I'm a down, riding with you in the spag. Only with the hitters for his girl here, tricker calling up a trap phone. Where you at?
You're riding with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Going to a World Cup match in LA this summer? Ditch the parking stress and ride Metro. With direct service from across LA County, it's the easy way to get there for just $1.75 each way.
All I need is one mic.
With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. It's high time that we say the quiet part out loud about what we consider a disgrace, an absolute disgrace to the people of South Los Angeles. Destination Crenshaw, or as I call it, Procrastination Crenshaw was supposed to be a 1.3-mile celebration of Black Los Angeles. Pocket parks, commissioned art, a cultural corridor along Crenshaw Boulevard, stretching from our studios in Leimert Park down to Nipsey Hussle Square. It was set to complete in 2022. That's right, 2022. We are now in 2026, and the Crenshaw community is still waiting. A grand opening was announced for February 2024. That date passed with not a single artwork installed. Then we were promised that construction would be completed by the end of 2024. That date came and went. Our understanding is that as of last fall, the 8th Council District Office was still scrambling to raise additional monies just to restart the project, which has been paused again and again. But here's what makes my blood boil. City officials had the nerve to tell this community the delays are, quote, a necessary inconvenience, close quote. A necessary inconvenience? First of all, who are you talking to? Second, go tell that to the Black business owners who have been coping with construction chaos, breathing dust, enduring years of road closures, and the scarcity of available parking, confronting unsanitary conditions, losing customers and revenue, all while the project they were promised still sits unfinished. They wouldn't let a project sit this long in any other part of this city. And for what it's worth, our elected official just happens to be the president of the LA City Council. Meanwhile, the city is laser focused on sprucing things up for the World Cup and the Olympics. Please, if this corridor were in Brentwood or Beverly Hills, it would have been completed on time, on budget, and on the cover of every magazine in town. The Crenshaw community deserves better. They deserve the truth, and they deserve what was promised to them. Now, right now. Not when it's convenient, not when the cameras are rolling for the Olympics. Now, this isn't incompetence. This is a pattern. And at some point, neglect becomes a decision. With a KBLA Talk 1580 editorial, I'm Tavis Smiley. As always, we welcome your feedback.
You're listening to Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
Welcome back in. You're locked in with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. So we're going to talk about that young lady right there, Clayton Howard, the escort that appeared during the Diddy trial, as well as his image, I guess, is one allegedly in the video that has been leaked online of an alleged hotel night freak off with Diddy, this gentleman, and Jane Doe. Jane Doe is Daphne. In the meantime, Daphne has, put out a statement that she dropped her OnlyFans to 85% off to catch the wave, I suppose, put out a video of herself twerking, and talked with academics about the question, does size really matter? So I'm not judging, I'm observing. So listen, Clayton, he's taking his fight with Cassie and Diddy back to the internet. But this one is, it's getting louder with the rant, right? It's a lot happening here. So essentially, his lawsuit against Cassie and Diddy is not just about explosive allegations. It's basically who the court believes and how much of Diddy's conviction plays into this, right? So again, he's described as a male escort, right? He filed a civil lawsuit against Cassie and Diddy. Cassie has moved out of the country. She has responded to this. The lawsuit alleges that he was involved in sexual encounters connected to the alleged freak-offs, and he is accusing both Cassie and Diddy of sexual abuse and claims he suffered serious mental and physical harm. His lawsuit is seeking monetary damages, large ones, reportedly around $35 million. So Cassie's legal team has moved to dismiss his complaint, and we'll see what happens with that. Howard's ex-girlfriend has reportedly contacted Cassie, per TMZ, and offered up information about him. And, you know, he's had a lot of social media commentary about all of this. And this is his latest rant, shall we say, about the case and what he sees happening currently.
I'm Clayton Howard. I am the plaintiff suing Diddy and Cassie on these freak-offs that happened all these years ago with the male escorts and all of this stupidness that you now see all over social media. So for the last couple of months, audience, I've been quiet. I'm a law student. I'm not a professional prostitute. I'm not a male escort. All of that is being constantly circulated by the media has something to do with something that occurred in my past over 10 years ago. Cassie admitted to sex trafficking me. Cassie admitted to lying on me. Cassie admitted to creating an environment that was completely deceptive of the truth of the narrative that what was going on, at least to me. People, by all legal terminology, that's coercion. If she wasn't willing to tell me who she really was and what was going on, she was lying to me. She hid her identity for multiple years for the sole purpose of lying to me and convincing me that herself and Sean Combs were husband and wife. So, audience, how can I be a liar if this woman admitted all of this on the stand during a federal criminal trial? Has filed a motion to dismiss. But, audience, Cassie has not disputed any of my allegations. Her motion to dismiss attacks me on timeliness of the allegations, stating that, because it happened X amount of years ago, now it's too late to charge her or seek action against it. Her motion to dismiss tries to use a text message sent by me to her husband, trying to respect her marriage and not blow her up for the cum dumpster she actually is. Now, audience, I'm going to state something for a fact because Clayton Howard is no liar. I most certainly sent that text message to Alex Fine, and it wasn't because Cassandra Ventura is a truthful woman. It was because Alex Fine, being a man who simply was in love with a woman, he had no knowledge of the truth of what really happened with Cassie because he wasn't in those rooms. So out of respect for this guy, I didn't contact him and say, yo, your wife is a cum-catching, cum-dumpster and a liar. I tried to contact him with a velvet glove, hoping that contacting him favorably would allow Cassandra to reach out to me to explain to me the things that I was hearing in the media. Because, audience, I knew she was lying from the beginning of when I first heard the media reports. Now, audience, you should know something that's really very valid, that the Wigdor law firm seemed to leave out of their arguing that I'm trying to go after Cassie's money. People, I was directed to the U.S. Attorney's Office by the Wigdor. She's a victim of domestic violence. She is. She gets credit for that, people. Diddy beat her. Diddy treated her horribly in his drug-induced state. But he didn't make her sleep with all those black guys, people. She slept with all of those escorts. She slept with all of those black men, those minority men, because the truth of the matter is Cassandra Ventura is a whore. She did this because she is sexually promiscuous and what she actually testified to, she has ability controlling her sexual orgies. She's a nymphomaniac, from what I believe the transcript said. Audience, I'm not going to go back and forth with the Wigdor law firm trying to use outside media sources to attack my personal life, hoping that that's enough to convince a jury down the line that Cassie was telling the truth to facts she testified to during a federal trial. Audience, you may not like me, but here's the truth. I was victimized by Cassandra Ventura. She lied to me. She lied to dozens of other men for years while she traveled all around the world, not even the country, people, allowing herself to be for a billionaire who she hoped would marry her at the end of her sacrifice of her soul and body, and it didn't happen. So when she realized that she threw 10 years of her life away and put 1,000,000 miles on her vagina for absolutely nothing, she retaliated against Diddy, she lied to federal prosecutors, and she just injected some of the real domestic violence over there to cover her own criminal conduct and to get revenge on her ex-boyfriend.
So there was a lot there But what is noted is that there are some facts that were said in federal court during the criminal trial while Cassie was on the stand. So, does that mean he potentially has a case? I don't know. He was manipulated to a degree because he was lied to. She admitted to that on the stand. I'm curious to see what happens because it feels like he's trying to run her playbook back on her. And I'm not saying that to say that Cassie was not a victim. I am simply saying, logistically, it appears he is using the same structure and arguments in his civil suit. Andy?
Victims can victimize as well, too.
They can. I mean, realistically, it's been said that a lot of abusers are victims of abuse. Now, I don't know if this particular instance would constitute that, but it certainly will be interesting to see, does this case get dismissed and how this all plays out, you know? It's a lot happening. Listen, that was a lot. Whoa! Our legal law and order beat tonight. I did not expect that for a Monday, but you know Mondays are always crazy. Thank you for locking in for a bit of facts, context, and culture. Coming up next is Zoe Williams, the voice of reason. I am back at it again tomorrow, 6 to 7 p.m. Have a good night.
How they want. I long for you to talk to me like you did that night in the restaurant. You spoke of love so openly, and again you promised me that you never leave. But now you're gone. With this voice I become. Sometimes I catch myself calling your name when you're not there at all. Please tell me what I did wrong. Why must I hear your voice inside my head all day and all night long? It's not fair.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Amber Payton with BIN News Now. President Trump abruptly ended a taped Meet the Press interview on NBC after being challenged on election fraud claims and his DOJ weaponization fund.
The one-sided crooked network. So let's call it quits because I've had enough.
Moderator Kristen Welker pressed him for evidence after Trump